We begin in the U.S., where shock and heartbreak has engulfed a small city in Texas. A day after 19 children and 2 teachers were gunned down at their elementary school. The 18-year-old suspect was armed with AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he has warned in online messages minutes before the attack that he was going to shoot up a school. Mark Storr has more from Uvalde.
It was just days ago students here at Robb Elementary were preparing for the end of the school year. Now this entire complex is surrounded in crime tape. There are police vehicles surrounding it. We are hearing from law enforcement and from the governor of Texas, who indicates that the alleged shooter, the 18-year-old, made suggestions, made overtures on social media that he was going to engage in this kind of violence. The outrage is being felt from here in Texas all the way to the White House.
The idea that an 18-year-old can walk into a store and buy weapons of war designed and marketed to kill is, I think, just wrong. It just violates common sense. Even the manufacturer, the inventor of that weapon, thought that as well.
There's no question there was a lot of desperation. Law enforcement actually went around the circumference of the school and broke some of the windows so students could escape safely. Mark Stewart in Uvalde, Texas.
Well, a community in Uvalde, Texas gathers to grieve the loss of 21 people. They find there are more questions than answers and that it can have a long-lasting effect on the victims' loved ones. Frank Contreras looks at how some members of the community are dealing with their losses.
In this close-knit town with deep Mexican cultural roots, people here know each other's names and even greet each other like neighbors. So it's no surprise that even the friends and neighbors of parents whose children were killed by the 18-year-old gunman in Uvalde feel the pain. Some find tender ways to demand changes in the nation's gun laws.
Well, showing my respect. Maybe a little pressure on somebody to change the laws so guns, those types of guns, don't get in the hands of children and mentally disturbed people.
When the death of a child comes suddenly and without warning, the loss goes deep and can often produce a sense similar to suffocation. Families can struggle to cope with such a loss for years. Their grieving is so profound that many prefer not to speak about it. Mental health experts say these parents risk slipping into deep and lasting bouts of post-traumatic stress. As the families come to grips with their profound loss, their neighbors try to express sympathy.
I can't imagine going through that with one of my grandkids. My heart is broken for the parents here in Uvalde. It's never thought something like this would happen in a small town.
Some of the community members were first responders, firemen, police, paramedics, who tried rescuing the children from the Robb Elementary School. Others expressed gratitude that their own children survived the shooting.
Not that I was grateful that my kids weren't here, but just knowing that my kids were safe. I mean, my family's good, but my town is in pain.
The people of Uvalde are supporting each other during this difficult time. Local funeral homes are donating their services to the families of the victims. As the town mourns, some here are recalling the words of an anonymous poet who wrote, "Whenever grief tries to steal the beauty of your memories, just remember, love never dies." Frank Contreras, CGTN, Uvalde, Texas.